You know that feeling when you first wake up in the morning, your eyes feel incredibly dry and scratchy, and that digital clock across the room is just a fuzzy blur? You probably rub your eyes, blink a few times, and just tell yourself, well, I'm just getting older. But listen to this. What if I told you that waking up with blurry vision is not just some natural side effect of aging? Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are uncovering the truth about a literal biological crime scene that is actively occurring in the dark, right inside your eyes while you sleep. We're investigating a silent, incredibly destructive phenomenon known as nighttime retinal decay.
And it is genuinely shocking how often this entire concept just gets completely dismissed in the medical community. I mean, you mention this to a regular doctor, and what do? They hand you some hydrating eye drops or maybe write you a slightly stronger prescription. But they absolutely are not looking at the terrifying root cause here. Why is your vision actually blurring overnight? Because while you think your body is just peacefully resting and recovering, your delicate photoreceptor cells, which are the exact cells that allow you to distinguish fine detail, are quite literally starving for survival in the dark.
The stakes of this investigation absolutely could not be higher. The National Eye Institute actually recently issued this incredibly stark warning. They stated that vision loss among Americans is rising faster than at any point in recorded history. So we are not just talking about needing to pick up some reading glasses from the pharmacy. We are talking about the very real, terrifying reality of losing your visual independence, losing your ability to drive at night, and losing your confidence to just navigate the world after the age of 45.
So let's break down phase 1, which is nocturnal retinal hypoxia. Host B, tell us exactly what is happening inside the human eye the absolute second the lights go out.
Right, so in a completely normal, healthy sleep cycle, your eyes undergo steady oxygen delivery, you get deep cellular repair, and really rich nutrient circulation. That's the ideal. But for millions of aging adults, that is absolutely not what is happening. Instead, they are experiencing retinal hypoxia. During the night, your blood flow naturally slows down, but the retina actually gets entirely cut off from adequate oxygen. It is experiencing true cellular suffocation. And it's this exact oxygen starvation that causes irreparable microdamage. That is the precise physiological reason you wake up with those heavy, deeply fatigued eyes.
Which builds into a seriously terrifying timeline. It's a nightly hypoxia cascade. Just one single hour after you fall asleep, your blood circulation slows dramatically and those oxygen levels just plummet. By hour 4, that starving retinal tissue is actively beginning to degrade. It's breaking down. And by hour 8, the damage is literally done. You wake up with dry, damaged, blurry eyes. And if this silent suffocation goes unchecked, this exact same cascade repeats itself every single night.
But there is a countermeasure. And honestly, this is a point of sheer clinical fascination for me. It's red dragon fruit. Specifically, the variety with the really deep, vibrant red flesh. That deep color means it contains highly potent antioxidants called betalains. When you consume this before bed, these act as a literal biological trigger for critical nitric oxide production. And what that does is it forces the tiny, microscopic capillaries in your eyes to physically widen during deep sleep, completely flooding that starving retinal tissue with oxygen. Oh, and here's a crucial detail. If you actively chew those little black seeds instead of just swallowing them whole, you deliver a vital payload of omega-3s and magnesium directly to the optic nerve. It's brilliant.
It really is. But we have to move to phase 2. Glycation and the blinding proteins, because while that oxygen starvation is terrifying on its own, there is actually an even more insidious threat happening simultaneously while you're asleep.
Yeah, the clinical term for this silent threat is glycation. And basically, this is a highly destructive process where excess blood glucose chemically binds to the incredibly delicate proteins inside your eye tissue. It literally attaches to them. And it forms these advanced glycation compounds that progressively cloud your lenses and severely degrade your retina. And what is truly gripping about this whole process is that it is not some rare genetic disease. These blinding proteins are accumulating silently and continuously in the eyes of almost everyone over the age of 60.
To put it in really plain, undeniable terms, it is exactly like rust forming on a camera lens in the dark. Just let that sink in for a second. This biological rust is the exact mechanism causing those cloudy lenses, that incredibly frustrating night glare you get from oncoming headlights, and early cataracts. And it is physically building up over your vision layer by layer while you are completely unaware in your bed.
But obviously, we wouldn't bring you this investigation without uncovering the defense. Let's talk about the countermeasure, which is known as the retinal flush. There is an urgent, highly effective natural intervention that is entirely capable of stopping this glycation rust and literally saving the aging eye. And what is genuinely fascinating here is the sheer precision of this protocol. 1 cup. That is the exact non-negotiable dosage required to actually initiate this biological flush. And the agent used to execute this flush isn't some expensive synthetic pharmaceutical. It is a specific everyday fruit that you might literally have sitting on your kitchen counter right now.
I absolutely geek out over the clinical data on this because it's just breathtaking. The biological agent we're talking about is the papain enzyme, which is found abundantly in ripe papaya. Its mechanism of action essentially acts as a highly targeted biological flush to literally dissolve those accumulated rust-like glycation proteins. It just breaks them down. The measurable outcome here? It actively clears those cloudy lenses. Plus, papaya has this rich vitamin matrix of A, C, E, and folate that perfectly stabilizes your tear film to completely shut down oxidative stress. The data actually proves that a daily papaya consumption protocol improves contrast vision in just 6 weeks. 6 weeks to actively reverse that rust.
And the best part is, the papaya isn't even acting alone in this fight. It is genuinely shocking how these specific chemical compounds act as precise, targeted countermeasures for totally different parts of the aging eye. You've got wild blueberries, which contain pterostilbene to aggressively target DNA damage. Black currants utilize anthocyanins to actively restore rhodopsin, which literally helps give you your night vision back. Golden kiwi deploys lutein and zeaxanthin as internal filters against light damage. And goji berries? They deliver massive amounts of zeaxanthin to specifically target and halt macular thinning. It's not just a fruit salad, it is an absolute arsenal of vision repair. Which brings us to the protocols for visual independence. And the crucial point I need to make here is this. These are absolutely not casual, lighthearted dietary tips that you can just try whenever you feel like it. If you actually want to stop the decay and preserve your sight, these are strict, non-negotiable clinical protocols.
Exactly. Dr. Clark has actually outlined 5 non-negotiable rules for this, and honestly, breaking them renders these fruits completely useless. Rule 1. No calcium or dairy within 90 minutes. The proteins in milk literally bind to these nutrients and physically block your gut from absorbing them at all. Rule 2. You absolutely must add healthy fats like walnuts or avocado because this boosts the absorption of those critical nutrients by a massive 50%. Rule 3. Wash the fruit gently under cool water to protect the very delicate surface antioxidants. Rule 4 is so critical. Serve it at room temperature. Cold temperatures straight from the refrigerator will literally kill the papain enzyme's ability to dissolve that glycation rust. And finally, Rule 5. You need to consume this exactly 60 to 90 minutes before bed. That perfectly times the biological flush with your deepest, most restorative sleep cycle.
Which brings us to the end of our investigation, and honestly, to a pretty haunting, provocative question. I want you to really think about what is truly at stake here. If you follow these exact protocols, and if your eyesight became noticeably clearer tomorrow morning, without that heavy fatigue, without that awful cloudy blur, what is the very first thing you'd actually want to look at? The faces of your family? A sunrise? Because ultimately, that is what this is all about, your visual independence. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer. Protect your eyes, because they are entirely irreplaceable.